SensorTube, and we got the go live on SensorTube, and should be live. Nice, there we are. SensorTube is live, and we're waiting on Rumble. Nice, nice. I haven't figured out what the lag is. Like a few seconds lag between the different streams, but pretty cool. Very this brilliant, really, that we can live stream now on. We're doing it on 3 different platforms, soon to be on more, and the Rumble is live as well. GB salutations, yo chycho the man, salutations, hope everyone's doing well. Gang, I'm Chycho, welcome to another live stream. Today, what is today? February 13th, 2024, and we're continuing our live stream reading of the Iran-Contra scandal trading cards. We've read cards number 1 to 12. Last week we're going to read cards number 13 to 24 today, and then maybe the following week, maybe 2 weeks from now, probably next week, maybe we're gonna read cards 25 to 36. Real Xenovore, how are you doing? Salutations, hope everyone's doing well. Let me just make sure my Twitch. Virtual Nazgul, salutations, hope you're doing well. By the way, Virtual Nazgul, Eclipse Comics put out a deck of cards, Hobbit, that I'm going to try to get my hands on as well, just so you know, and don't forget, gang, do not forget, free Assange. Julian Assange, a publisher and journalist that has been crucified for trying to bring transparency and accountability of capitalist power to humanity, something that we desperately need in our societies. For more information, see wikileaks.org, defend.wikileaks.org, or countless resources available on free speech platforms. And since we are in February 13th right now, 2024, keep in mind on February 19th and 20th is Julian Assange's last hearing regarding the extradition to the United States. That's next Monday and Tuesday, if I got my dates correct. And I'm going to keep my eyes on it. Not sure how we're going to go about it. I might attend a rally in town if there is one in town, or I might just do an impromptu live stream, or I might just follow the proceedings myself and just read up on it and just see what's going on, because it is going to be an emotional day. We've talked about this for a long time. I've been following it, writing articles about it for over 10 years now, I guess, and it's coming to a head. That means the future of humanity is coming to a head. So keep those dates in mind, and keep Julian Assange in your hearts. Okay, gang. Cheryl, how are you doing on Twitch? Hope you're doing well. Salutations. Virtual Nazgul, I'm excited to see you get the card. Me too. Me too. That's the Hobbit cards from Lord of the Rings. And Nick on Phoenix, free Assange, indeed. Let's go. Elder God, how are you doing? Salute. GB Chycho, do you have any info if the public hearing on Assange will be streamed or something? I don't think it's going to be streamed. From what I know, it's not going to be streamed. But there's mass protests set up for UK. I believe it's in front of Belmarsh, or it's in front of the courthouse that they're doing a hearing on. There's multiple events happening all around the world in different towns and cities, some large, some small as one person. But I don't think the fascistic UK government is going to allow the hearing to be live streamed. Last time they only allowed Craig Murray, I believe, to even Craig Murray and maybe a couple other people, and going through like serious hassle to be in the court proceedings, and they denied many people from entering, journalists from reporting on it. But if I do find it as the time gets closer, I will definitely post it on our gilded server, right? So I am sharing the info as much as is popping up on our gilded. There's like 3 different places that are keeping us up to date with that, so I'm trying to stay on top of it. We'll see where it goes. Real Xenomorph on Twitch. Those will be some scary cards indeed. Monday, February 19th. I will be there. You're going to be there in person, Elder God. Salute, man. I would be there in a heartbeat if I was in the UK. Like, what? Like, take, the political aspect of it. Huge political implications, journalistic implications, free speech implications, link to what's happening to Julian Assange, to what's happening to us individually and collectively in terms of our freedoms in our societies in regards to free speech, free expression, privacy, anonymity, and all that jazz. Unprecedented. These days will, you want to say, live in history or live in infamy for decades to come. These are historical setting days, and incredibly important to at least set your mark and be able to turn to future generations and say, I was there and I took a side. Keep that in mind. You will have to live with yourself if you are on the sidelines or if you are supporting tyranny, right? Real Xenomorph. Are people talking much about Assange in Canada, UK? Not in Canada. I know a handful of people that are aware of it, but my general proximity of associates, some people that used to be friends, now they're arms length away, fascistic tyrannical clowns. Love them. What did it call them? Feel good people, not feel good people, fair weather friends. You go to parties with them, you dance with them, but you do not talk about anything important with them or expect them to be politically aware, economically aware, socially aware, or anything like this. They are NPCs to the nth degree, right? So in Canada there aren't too many people that are aware. Canadians have except for a handful of people, and about 15 to 20% of Canadians, with the trucker rallies and farmers protests and people that resisted tyranny, that group is politically aware, economically aware, and they know what's happening, and they know about Julian Assange. But 80% of Canadians are completely oblivious as to what's going on in the world. It's pretty pathetic, actually, very pathetic. And dude, happy Tuesday to you as well, Elder God. I will be there with the Stella crowd. Nice, Elder God, man. I'm following Stella Assange on Substack. I'm posting her articles in our gilded server. Stand your ground and fight for freedom. All my fair weather friends have been dumped. Indeed. Me too, Elder God. No time for them. I don't want to make time for them. There's better things to do. Read trading cards, right? Historical trading cards, important trading cards. Gang, how we in? We're about 9 minutes in. I'm drinking some electrolytes. Let's do a count. Let's see if notifications have gone out to people. Make sure my sensor tube chat is good. Yeah, we got right now 4 people on sensor tube. Salute to the people on sensor tube. We got 19 people on Twitch, and we got 7 people on Rumble. Salutations, Rumble and Twitch. Hope you guys are doing well. Nice. Gang, what say you? Should we begin our readings? Yeah, I think we waited long enough. I'm excited to do these. We only got 12 cards to read, right? Because I do want to break it up into digestible size and I want to make it symmetrical, right? 12, 12, 12. I don't want to. That's the math in me, right? Must be symmetrical. I like symmetry. If you touch here, you touch here, right? Make it symmetrical. Make it symmetrical. Some people would say is what did you call it? Compulsive something behavior or something like this, but they don't, you know, they live inside the box. We live outside the box, right? So gang, let's do this. I'm gonna turn off notifications. Oh, hold on, we'll give people a little bit more time. We'll do our little intro. Gang, if you want to follow this work, we're on Patreon, Substack, Subscribestar. We do have a gilded server. We are live streaming on CensorTube, on Rumble, on Twitch, hopefully on BitChute and Odyssey sooner rather than later. For some of the live streams, we do upload the audio as podcasts on soundcloud.com/chycho. We're on Twitter, we're on Minds, we're on VK, we're on Gab, we're on Truth Social, we're on Substack Notes, and we're on Getter. You're definitely welcome to follow us there. Thank you very much, Allah God. Salbandini, salutations, good afternoon, Chycho and friends. Indeed. Hope everyone's doing well. Let me take these guys down. Doink, 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 and doink. Real Zimmo, good luck keeping up with 4 chats once BitChute allows live streams. I know. I got a feeling I'm gonna have to go through a third party, and I believe Rumble has introduced that just in the last couple of weeks. Rumble to within the last month. GB doink. I think Rumble in the last month, within the last 2-3 weeks, introduced instead of like OBS, their own software to be able to live stream multiple platforms. I haven't looked into it yet, but once BitChute allows live streaming, because I'm going to hit that up with Odyssey at the same time, I reckon BitChute should replace CensorTube. Elder God's going hard on CensorTube. No, we love our crowd on CensorTube. We do, even though there's, man, you should see some of this political stuff that I'm loading on. The same crowd that trolls, the bots, the NPCs, the corporate media propagandists, they come up and they try to use up your time, right? I give them a little bit of time just to debunk them, right? Right? All rhetoric, link up, and it allows me a little bit of opportunity to link things up, right? That some other people in chat might be new, and all of a sudden they go read some information. But you should see the crowd there. Wow, talk about controlled opposite, like information, right? Poof, crazy. Kill Selic, yo, hope you're doing well. That Alex guy the other day. that's the type of guy. Oh my god, crazy. And then when they lose all arguments, if you like it there so much, why don't you move there? What the hell? Anyway, I'm gonna stop laughing. It cracks me up. It gives me good practice to deal with low IQ people, right? Like I really eliminate a lot of low IQ in my life. Like my students, I don't care how old they are, they're crazy high IQ compared to some of the people that I talk to online. It's crazy. Ediopolis, salutations. Hi Chycho, I like your sweater. Thank you very much. It's like a cozy little thing I wear. GB hitting with the ultra maximum go live there argument. Go live there argument got me laughing that day. Yeah, man, you're crazy. It's the lowest IQ thing you could do, right? So come on, they're allowed to be low IQ, man. People have a right to be low IQ if they want to be. Like, really, you're allowed to be stupid if you want to be. You're allowed to be cannon fodder if you want to be. Just don't force it on anybody else, right? Oh the god, I was 2.5 seconds sending him to the sin man. No, it was good. The way we dealt with it was good. I'd rather not censor people. I'd rather not ban people unless they're being outwardly aggressive towards people, calling, just trash talking, filling the chat full of spam. You just time them out and let them be. But if they're genuinely low IQ, might as well try to help raise their IQ a little bit, as long as they're not making anybody that's reading their comments get dumber because they've been reading their comments, right? GB saying show them the hammer. Okay, gang. Let me see if the sense. I'm concerned about the censorship chat because last time it wasn't showing me the chat that people were talking. So I'm just checking to make sure it's all good. So we got 11 people on Rumble, 31 on Twitch, and 7 on censortube. Gang, let's start our reading. I am going to. What are your thoughts on this? Hey Chicho, did you listen to the Tucker Carlson and put it into? Oh, for sure, of course. I watched it live. Oh, and if you want to know what are your thoughts about that, I just loaded up the 18 minutes of me talking about that interview that we did from the map live stream, and I just loaded it up this morning because it's one of the first things that they wanted to do. Chat check. I see it, Hedgie. Thanks, Elder God. Alpha Hedgie on censortube. I see it. So and the police, check out Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, and censortube, and my take on it, and that's just a short 18-minute take, is on there. It's the most update video that I put out. Okay. Visual Nazgul. Some people just talk for the sake of talking. Makes you wonder how they're still breathing all these years later. Lord of Iron, how are you doing? Hey Chicho and chat, everyone's well, doing well. Gang, I'm gonna turn off chat. I'm gonna turn off notifications. Okay, I'm gonna change our angle because we're gonna do the reading. Okay, and we're having a crazy warm February here in west coast of BC. It's amazing. So it's pretty bright. Okay, it's sunny. So we're gonna do our little intro. And I'm gonna do a little intro of who I am, because I'm gonna cut out this segment and what do you call it, load it up individually as the reading, right? Lark bark on censortube, hope you're doing well. Hi everyone, this is Chycho. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the live stream. Today we're going to continue our reading of the Iran-Contra scandal trading cards put out by Eclipse Comics in what was the date on this? 19, that's not the one. 19, where's the date? Oh, it doesn't have the date here. Hold on, we'll take a look at this. 1988, the Iran-Contra trade, 1988. Okay, so we're going to continue our reading. We read cards number 1 to 12 here, okay, in the last stream last week, and we're going to continue the reading, and we're going to read cards number 13 to 24. Okay, and these cards came out of this box, which I have open, right? And when I cracked open this box, I realized a little insert that's usually in the box, in all the trading cards that we've done the reading for, from Eclipse Comics, because they put out a whole bunch of political trading cards and some music and sports. The insert wasn't in there, so I grabbed another deck that I have. I believe I have 3 decks of these, okay, if I recall correctly. I've been buying a whole bunch lately of Eclipse Comics trading cards, and I'm sort of losing track of the handful that I have, or the few that I have. So I checked this one and it has the insert there, so I want to take a look at this insert. That way we've read the insert of all the cards, okay, and then we'll start reading these. And this insert doesn't look like it has anything in the back of it, right? Usually all the inserts so far have had a front and a back with a little intro of what these cards are about, and these ones are one of the earlier sets that Eclipse Comics put out. I'm not sure which one would be the earliest. I think 1988 was the earliest, so this could have been the first set they ever put out. I actually have to look into that, because a lot of the other cards we've been reading have been 89, 92, 93, and around there, early 90s. So maybe they upgraded it because they were putting out more cars and they had a list of all the different cars they had there, right? So let's have a read through this, the insert for this. Other current event items from Eclipse books: PO Box 1099, Forestville, California, not 5436. Brought to light 895, an 80-page full-color graphic documentary that reveals 30 years of covert action. Wow, drug running and arms deals that robbed America and betrayed the Constitution, based on the Christic Institute's explosive investigation. It's like a television documentary you carry around in your pocket, and without the usual network censorship. Whoa, Jonathan Marshall, the Iran-Contra connection. What? Okay, this is the first time we're seeing this bit of info. I don't remember seeing this one. Brought to light, full color graphic documentary. I need to remember to maybe track that down. El Salvador, a house divided, a 40-page factual black and white comic book. Whoa. Real war stories, a 48-page color comic book about the military, $2. Now, just to give you guys a recap, we found out about all of the Eclipse Comics trading cards from the Real War Stories #2 that we read, and in the back they had an advertisement for the JFK cards. And I don't know if the drug war trading cards were in there too. They had the JFK cards and something else, and we were like, whoa, what's this? And after doing a little bit of research, I found out Eclipse Comics put out a whole bunch of trading cards, historical trading cards, and that's how we got into this went down this rabbit hole of collecting all these comics, all these cards, where I've spent over $1,000 US getting our hands on some of these cards, and where we've put out a few hours of reading cards, and we're going to continue to do so. Okay, and it was a great comic book reading, by the way. Great comic book reading. It actually, I believe, also had General Wesley Snipes' "War is a Racket," right? Farewell to the Gipper, 160 pages of biting cartoons by Dan O'Neill. Bush League trading cards, cool, we got that as well. We got the Bush League trading cards. Rotten to the Core, New York City political scandal trading cards, we have those as well. And they came out 89, I believe, and this is 88, so this is advertising something that's coming out next year, I guess. And Rotten to the Core has the rookie card for Donald Trump that we're reading for. Friendly Dictators trading cards, we have those as well. Additional sets of Iran-Contra scandal trading cards, nice. Please add $1.50 postage per order, total enclosed below. Now, if you were a collectible investor type of person, this price right here, Rotten to the Core, New York City's political scandal trading cards for $9.95 would have been an amazing investment. One of the best investments you could have made in your life if you bought these in 1988, 1989. Because with the Donald Trump rookie card graded at 10, that's selling for around $1,000 US. Graded at 9, selling anywhere between on the cheap side 400, on the expensive side to around 650 US, and the odds are it's going to go higher. Okay, so that's the insert for the Iran-Contra trading cards. Salutations to everyone that's joining us right now. We got Ghoul on CensorTube, Eric Shosted on CensorTube. So I'm going to put this guy aside there. I'm going to take the box we have here and put it over here as well, because we're going to put the cards back where they belong. And we've got a bunch of people that joined us on Twitch as well. Zom01, thank you very much for redeeming the points. And I'm going to get back into reading these cards, or get into reading these cards. Okay, gang. And I will most likely hold off on uploading the individual cards until we've done all the readings, and then because I'm sort of editing these on the side and loading them up, but I still have them as private, and we'll make them go public. Each card, all the sets back to back, so it'll probably take us about 2 weeks to upload all of these cards, as individual readings and as the 3 sets that we're going to do. Okay, now that we got our little recap intro, reading the insert done, let's get into continuing reading the individual cards. Okay, card number 13, Oliver North. Oliver North, the antagonist, I guess you could call him, right, of the Iran-Contra affair, the patsy, maybe the main node that everything went through, or almost everything went through, right? Card number 13, Marine Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. Marine Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, the Vietnam veteran and Naval War College graduate, joined the National Security Council staff at the White House in 1981. Self-motivated and religiously anti-communist, North fit right into the increased operational role envisioned for the NSC by the Reagan team. When Robert Bud McFarlane became National Security Advisor in late 1983, see card number 28, he handed North the Contra account, passing on instructions from President Reagan to keep the Contras alive, quote, in body and in soul, end quote. North went to great lengths to perform his duties, according to Noriega's aide Jose Blando. North had 2 meetings with Panama's strongman Manuel Noriega in 1985. Even though Washington knew Noriega was involved in the international drug trade, Blandon alleges North pledged to help obtain U.S. aid to ease Panama's foreign debt crisis and lined up a PR firm called IBC, see card number 15, to improve Noriega's sagging public image. In return, Noriega promised to help in setting up 2 Contra training camps in Panama. A look at Albert Hakim's records, see card number 20, shatters North's public image as a selfless patriot. Of 16.1 million in profits from missile sales to Iran, only 3.8 million found its way to the Contras. Although he had less expensive arms suppliers, North steered most Contra business to the Enterprise at inflated prices. North himself skimmed at least $20,000 in Contra fund for his personal use, and in 1988 he was indicted for defrauding the US government. And again, we're going to read the little bottom text. Iran-Contra scandal, trading cards, text 1988, copyright 1988, Paul Brancato, art copyright 1988, Salim Yukop, Enterprise, Eclipse Enterprises, PO Box 1099, Forestville, California 95436. Right. Oliver North. Look at those puppy eyes, right? And I wonder if this is Ollie North's rookie card. Would be cool. Should look into it. Card number 14. Card number 14. Robert Owen, Money Man. Robert Owen. Robert Owen with a mafia hat. Gangsta. Who is this guy? State Department contractor Robert Owen. Robert Owen, former legislative aide to Indiana Senator, now Republican vice presidential candidate Dan Quayle, was recruited by NSC staffer Oliver North, CIA hand John Hall, whom he had first met in Quayle's office in 1983, and Contra leader Adolfo Calero, see card number 13, 12, and 4, for the crucial role of liaison between individuals who were aiding the Contras. Once on the Contras FDN payroll, Owen, known as the Courier, took up his new job as North bagman with zeal. Acting as North's eyes and ears, he reported on the military and financial needs of the Contras and their helpers, and delivered money, travelers' checks, maps, encryption devices, and instructions to them. In 1985, with help from Calero and North, Owen's new company, IDEA, which he operated out of his home, was given a $50,000 State Department contract to deliver humanitarian aid to the Contras. Through Owen's influence, some of this State Department money was awarded to Air Match, a covert Pentagon operation, and some to Ocean Hunter, a Medellin cocaine cartel operation with ties to the CIA's John Hall. See cards 10, 11, and 12. Despite the fact that his patriotic zeal had entangled him with international drug traffickers and criminals, Owen expressed deep regard for Oliver North, the man who had recruited him. This was evidenced by his reading to the Iran-Contra committee from a poem written by John Hall. Quote, the knowledge that on this troubled earth there still walks men like Ollie North. In our lifetime you have given us a legend. End quote. Whoa. Robert Owen, bunch of fanatics. A poem about this guy. Let's read these two things together. Oops. Let's read these words together. Okay, what do we got? While we look at Ollie North's face, the puppy eyes looking gleefully into the sky, right? Quote, the knowledge that on this troubled earth there still walk men like Ollie North. In our lifetime you have given us a legend indeed, a legend indeed. Wow. Fanatics. Card number 15. Let's check this out. NEPL Presidents Contrathon with special guest Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, Carl Spitz Channell. Who is this guy? Card number 15. Contra fundraiser Carl Spitz Channell. In 1985, Carl Spitz Channell and his associate Richard Miller began to raise money for the Contras from wealthy American conservatives. For this purpose, they created a network of tax-exempt foundations with innocent sounding names such as the National Endowment for the Preservation of Liberty (NEPL) and International Business Communication (IBC). The standard fundraising session, the 1-2 punch, began with a slide presentation by Oliver North, which portrayed the Contras as virtuous but poorly equipped freedom fighters battling the godless Sandinistas Marxist Leninists. Then Channell would conclude the event by detailing the specific needs of the Contras, including military needs, and would arrange White House briefings for contributors, who sometimes got to meet the president if the donation was large enough. Channell and Miller were not very efficient fundraisers. Large amounts of money were used to lease expensive offices, rent limousines, throw lavish parties, and pay high salaries to themselves and others. Of the $10 million they raised, only 4.7 million went to the Contras. 1 million was used for pro-Contra publicity and advertisements in Contra aid swing vote districts. In 1987, Channell and Miller were convicted of defrauding the IRS using tax-exempt monies for illegal contributions of lethal aid to the Contras. Some of the peons getting thrown to the wolves, right? Carl Spitz. Let's look at Ollie's face. Look at this. Look at that big smile with a gap in his teeth. I bet he could whistle like mad. Right. And Elagos posting that this dude died in 1990, 2 years after these cars came out. Very cool, very cool. I wonder if we got onto a little plane and was flying somewhere. Card number 16. Card number 16. Joseph Coors. Joseph Coors. Adolphs. Joseph Coors. Who's this guy? Beer Magnate. Is this a Coors, people? It is. Beer Magnate. Joseph Coors. Joseph Coors, president of Coors Brewing Company, is a member of Reagan's kitchen cabinet. Having joined that body in 1980, an enthusiastic anti-communist, Coors was a keystone of the Contra support system put together by the White House. His donation of $65,000 to NEPL, see card number 15, used to purchase a small plane, was but a fraction of the overall support he gave to the Contra cause. Profits from the sale of Coors beer have funded many of the non-governmental institutions that promoted and sustained the Contra war. These include the Heritage Foundation, a right-wing think tank, Citizens for America, a grassroots lobby, and John Singlab's U.S. Council for World Freedom, the American chapter of WACL, see card number 7. The kitchen cabinet is a group of millionaires who have financed the Ronald Reagan's political career from the governorship of California to the White House. This group has profited greatly from Reagan's pro-business policies. Its members include Holmes Tuttle of Ford and Rexel, A.C. Rubble, chairman of Union Oil, Henry Salvatori, oil developer, Justin Dart and Dartcraft, Leonard Firestone of Firestone Tire and Rubber, Taft Schluber of MCA Inc., and William French Smith, Reagan's former Attorney General. Other wealthy conservatives who contributed to the Contras through NEPL include Barbara Newington, $2,865,025, Ellen Garwood $2,518,135, and Nelson Bunker Hunt $484,500. The Coors Company. This dude, Adolf Coors, Joseph Coors, Joseph Coors. Card number 17. King Fahd. Oh, snap. The Saudis are in. I'm a Contra 2. King Fahd. I believe he's Saudi, if I'm thinking about the right person. Yeah, that's him. Saudi Arabian monarch Fahd bin Abd al-Aziz. Saudi Arabia's King Fahd is one of 45 sons of Ibn Saud, who founded the modern state of Saudi Arabia in 1932. The Bedouin king was the largest single contributor to the Contras. Congressional investigators traced a total of 33.6 million that passed through Adolf Calero's FDN bank account. Of that amount, 32 million was received from Saudi Arabia. It was a small price to pay for continued US military support for his regime. Fahd gave many times that amount to the Afghan Mujahideen, another US-backed anti-communist force. The man who opened the doors to the mullahs, mullah was General Richard Secord, Secord number 19. As the head of the Pentagon's foreign military sales program from 1978 to 1981, Secord oversaw sales of billions of dollars in military equipment to the nations of the Middle East. In 1981, Secord and Oliver North, Secord number 13, successfully lobbied Congress to support the 8.5 billion sale of AWACS surveillance planes to Saudi Arabia over the stiff objection of the Israeli lobby, thus assuring King Fahad's support of the Contras. King Fahd is the world's second richest monarch, with a personal fortune estimated at 20 billion. The world's wealthiest monarch is the Sultan of Brunei, a tiny oil-rich country near Brunei. Although his personal wealth is estimated at 25 billion, the Sultan gave the Contras a mere 10 million. King of Saudi Arabia steps in. Elliot Abrams. Elliot Abrams, card number 18. Card number 18. Elliot Abrams. Schultz in the background. Elliot Abrams. Assistant Secretary of State Elliot Abrams, card number 18. Elliot Abrams, Assistant Secretary of State for Inter-American Affairs, was previously in charge of the Reagan administration's Human Rights Program. In testimony before a congressional committee, he implied that support for the Contra war against Nicaragua was part of the administration's human rights policies. Abrams has lied to Congress repeatedly. He misrepresented his role in soliciting a contribution for the Contras from the Sultan of Brunei, see card number 17, when the Hassan Fuss flight was shot down, see card number 29. Abrams testified to a House subcommittee that the US government was not involved in any way, and later he helped concoct a story laying the blame on General John Singlaub, see card number 7. A few months prior to this, he had helped win $20 million in emergency aid to Honduras by greatly exaggerating claims of Nicaraguan incursions into Honduran territory. Abrams' actions form a pattern of disinformation that characterizes the Reagan administration as a whole and George Shultz's State Department in particular. From the beginning, the administration lied about its intentions in Nicaragua, claiming that its covert actions were intended to cut off arms shipments from Nicaragua to El Salvador, when in fact they were creating an invasion force. Abrams went on to lead the administration's highly publicized but unsuccessful drive to remove Panama's drug dealing general Manuel Nicaragua from power. Elliot Abrams. Card number 19. Richard Secord, USA. Richard Secord. Look at that salute. Let's get that salute nicely focused. Oh, come on. We want your name in there too. Let's get you. That's okay. We'll get him like this. Look at that face. Super patriot. Richard Secord. Card number 19. Retired Air Force Major General Richard Secord. Retired Air Force Major General Richard V. Secord's specialty is aerial logistics. He learned his trade in Southern Asia from 1963 to 1968, flying over 285 combat missions. As the Air Wing Commander for the CIA's secret war in Laos, he was in charge of all tactical air operations. In 1983, Secord resigned under a cloud because of his involvement with Thomas Klein's, see card number 22, and Edwin Wilson, the renegade CIA officer who was convicted of selling arms to Libya. Soon Secord teamed up with his old friend Albert Hakim, see card number 20, and started the enterprise, which was part business empire, arms deals, and part military and security operations, covert warfare and intelligence. Secord began working for Oliver North, see card number 13, and the National Security Council in 1984 at the behest of CIA Director William Casey, see card number 5. Casey called the general a man who got things done. Within 2 years, the enterprise had 5 airplanes, 2 pilots on contract, 2 airfields, a boat, a stockpile of guns and military equipment, and numerous shell companies and secret bank accounts, all for the purpose of conducting covert military action for the NSC. The enterprise realized a profit of $16,100,000 on the sale of missiles to Ayatollah Khomeini. Out of this, Secord, Hakim, and Kleins each took an equal share of $2.2 million as their personal cut. In 1988, Secord was indicted for defrauding the US government. And Iran kicks in here with weapons, right? Richard Secord. That's a $2.2 million salute right there. Thank you very much. And the planes and the guns and the airfields and the party. Card number 20. Look at this guy, Albert Hakim, with his love on tattoo for Ollie. Look at that on his little belly button. Albert Hakim. Look at him. Look at this guy. Such an innocent looking face. Ollie tattoo. Isn't that cute? Who is he? Card number 20. Arms merchant Albert Hakim. In 1978, Iranian expatriate businessman Albert Hakim obtained contracts from Bechtel Corporation, a large defense contractor then headed by George Shultz and Caspar Weinberger. See card number 6. The same year, Theodore Shackley, see card number 24, introduced Hakim to Richard Secord, see card number 19, in Iran. Secord was then in charge of US arms sales to the Shah, and Hakim had contacts in the Iranian military and in the Shah's secret police, Savak. The huge desperate disparity between what the Pentagon charged and what the Iranians were willing to pay enabled Hakim and allegedly Secord to make fortunes by skimming profits off these arms sales. After Secord resigned from the military, Hakim became his partner. He was the financial wizard behind the enterprise, a non-governmental profit-making operation which aided the Reagan administration's covert foreign policies. The tangled web of shell companies and offshore bank accounts that Hakim created and controlled for the enterprise was designed, as Secord admitted, to confuse anyone who might start poking around. For instance, when congressional investigators poked into the BB for belly button account, Hakim explained that he had set up his $200,000 trust for Oliver North's family out of respect to North, whose radiation of patriotic love immediately penetrated to my system. This is inconsistent with Hakim's admission that he was only in it for the money. In 1988, Albert Hakim was indicted for defrauding the US government. Look at this face. Would you like sit down and have tea and apple pie with this dude? So innocent looking. Card number 21. The Enterprise. Richard Gadd and Robert Dutton. The Enterprise, or Enterprise. Card number 21. Career Air Force officers Richard Gadd and Robert Dutton. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Richard Gadd retired in September 1982 after 20 years of service in covert operations. A career transport pilot, Gad had recently served as liaison between Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Joint Special Operations Command at Fort Bragg, home of unconventional warfare. Gad had learned from friends in the Army's Special Operations Division, C Card number 6, that the Army needed a black commercial transport ability. Passing up a promotion to full colonel, Gad retired and formed Samarco, which specialized in providing the Pentagon and CIA with clandestine air transport. He arranged to rent planes and hire pirates through Southern Air Transport, a CIA proprietary. When Richard Secor's enterprise began its Contra resupply operation in 1985, C Card number 20, Second Secord turned to Gad to manage daily logistics. Gad supervised the construction of the secret Santa Elena airstrip in Costa Rica, C Card number 23. In early 1986, Secord, citing the 5 P's, piss poor performance for no prior planning, replaced Gad with retired Air Force Colonel Robert Dutton, Gad's former superior officer. Dutton has served under Secord in Iran, selling weapons to the Shah, and again in 1980 Iran hostage rescue mission. A cable sent by Dutton from Central America to Oliver North provided a lighter moment during the Iran-Contra hearing. Quote, "Send Fahd, can't survive on milk and cookies," end quotes. Enterprise. Card number 22. Thomas Klein. Thomas Klein. Thomas Klein. Ex-CIA agent and arms merchant Thomas Klein, card number 22. Thomas Gregory Kleins first met Richard Secord, C card number 19, during the secret war in Laos. Kleins, as CIA base chief in Long Ting, supervised the creation of a secret army of Hmong tribesmen to fight the communist Pathet Lao forces. The Hmong were traditionally opium growers. With the CIA's help, General Vang Pao, leader of the Hmong army, became a major supplier of opium. Secord's air wing flew tactical raids against the Pathet Lao, which also had the effect of destroying Von Pao's competition. Air America, the CIA's airline, transported the opium from Laos to Thailand. The CIA's secret Laotian operations were particularly partially financed by opium profits. Kleins and Secord's teamed up again in the Middle East during the mid-1970s. The Pentagon awarded Kleins' company EATSCO a contract worth over $1 billion to ship arms to Egypt. According to renegade CIA agent Edwin Wilson, Secord, who had helped to secure the contract, was also a silent partner in EATSCO. As with Theodore Shackley, C card number 24, this blatant conflict of interest led to Secord's early retirement from the military. Kleins pleaded guilty in 1983 to overcharging the Pentagon $8 million, for which he paid fines of $110,000. In 1984, Secord brought Kleins into the enterprise, Secor's number 1920, an expert in the small weapons market. Kleins brokered the enterprise's European deals involving purchases and transportation of arms for the Contras. Card number 22. Thomas Kleins. And Alugos posting that Kleins was the only Iran-Contra defendant to have served a prison sentence. That's why he doesn't look too happy, maybe. The belly button dude didn't serve any time, I guess. Card number 23. Who's this guy? Rafael Chichi Quintero. Rafael Chichi Quintero. Is he Cuban? Is that Castro doll? Good thing he's not a chycho. He's a chichi. Who is this guy? CIA veteran Rafael Chichi Quintero. Card number 23. Rafael Chichi Quintero, CIA veteran, once said that if he were granted immunity and compelled to testify about past actions, it would be the biggest scandal ever to hit the United States. An explosives expert and sniper, Quintero got his early training as a member of the CIA's Operation 40 assassination unit, also called the Shooter Team. This elite group, born of secret collaboration between agents of the CIA, the Mafia, and Richard Nixon, was formed to assassinate Fidel and Raul Castro and Che Guevara. Led for many years by E. Howard Hunt, the Shooter Team was part of an advanced unit that was left stranded in Cuba after the failed Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961. Quintero escaped from Cuba and returned to Miami, where he began working under then CIA agent Thomas Kleins, C card number 22. This work included engaging in CIA covert operations in southern Asia, Iran, and Central America. After Kleins joined the enterprise, C card number 19, Rafael Quintero handled the offloading and distribution of weapons shipments to the Contras under Kleins' direction. When John Hall's ranch, C card number 12, began to attract attention from Costa Rican authorities, the enterprise built a new secret airstrip at Santa Elena, Costa Rica, with help from the State Department's Elliot Abrams, C card number 18, Robert Owens, C card number 14, and Louis Tarbes, then U.S. ambassador to Costa Rica. Quintero, whom Secord called my man, managed supply operations from this new airship, which was used for the shipment of guns and drugs. Rafael Chichi Quintero. Rafael Chichi Quintero. Card number 24. Theodore Shackley. Looks like an Eraserhead from Dick Tracy comics. Theodore Shackley. Former CIA agent Theodore Shackley, card number 24. Known as the Blonde Ghost, Theodore G. Shackley played a central role in the formation of the secret team. After the abortive Bay of Pigs invasion of Cuba in 1961, Shackley became CIA station chief in Miami. There he directed Operation Mongoose, conducting sabotage and assassination raids on Cuba. His deputy, Thomas Clines, see card number 22, helped supervise E. Howard Hunt's shooter team. See card number 23. From 1966 to 1968, Shackley was station chief in Laos, where he directed Richard Secor's Air Wing. See card number 20. Shackley and Clines were transferred to Saigon in 1969, where for 4 years Shackley directed Operation Phoenix. During those years, the program, designed to neutralize communist sympathizers, claimed the lives of 40,000 civilians. One of Shackley's subordinates at this time was Donald Gregg, see card number 31. Shackley's next to last CIA post was as commander of worldwide covert operations, working under George Bush from 1976 to 1977. See card number 32. Theodore Shackley retired from the CIA in 1979, and he served on the transition team which planned Ronald Reagan's entry into the White House. His involvement in covert operations did not end with his retirement, however. Having previously introduced Richard Secor to Albert Hakim, see cards number 19 and 20, he served as a consultant to the enterprise until its apparent demise. In 1984, he took part in the Manucher Gorbenfar plan to trade arms for hostage CIA agent William Buckley. See card number 25 and 26. Recently, Shackley has been a lecturer on unconventional warfare. 40,000 civilians. 40,000 civilians. Let's look at his eyes. 40,000 civilians murdered. And Alagod says this piece of shit died in 1975 of cancer. Theodore Shackley. That's card number 24. Gang, that's 24 cards. We got 12 cards to read in the next live stream of the Iran-Contra scandal, right? Crazy informative. As I mentioned before, you could probably do a bachelor's thesis on one or two of these and do a master's thesis or a bachelor's thesis on one of these cards, master's thesis on 2 or 3 of them, and a PhD on this whole deck. Right. We'll continue the reading most likely next week. The Iran-Contra scandal, trading cards, the secret team. That's where the secret team's coming in, right? Very cool. I'm gonna go back to the chat, gang, to the live stream. I'm gonna turn on the chat. There's a lot of history that Elder God posted. I'm going to turn on notifications. I'm going to change my camera. Very cool. Very cool. So much info. So much info. Need a big board. Elga's saying need a big board with string connections. 100%. So many connections. So many connections. I'm just reading up on the chat, gang. I saw Eric shows saying Ollie North for president. Eric, if you're still there, Oliver North ran for Congress, I believe, and there's a documentary out there following him through his campaign to run for either Senate or Congress or something like this, right? Where they interview him, and it's a crazy documentary. It's a crazy documentary. Oliver North was a more real version of George Bush Jr. Really cool. Lark Bark, they might have put a hit on the guy for publishing these cars back in 90. Yeah, I wonder what happened with them. Accident Professional, Greg J. These are real cool, chycho. Remember the Saddam ones that were around during Desert Storm? We traded them in school with, which was not allowed. Yeah, I remember those Desert Storm cards. I remember those that they came out. Real Fringe on Rumble and Astro Sweet on Rumble. Salutations, gang. Salutations, gang. Welcome back to our live stream. Mr. Izakaya on Twitch, and a bunch of people on Twitch, gang. Aldegot posting a lot of info. Very cool, very cool. Aldegot, I keep the information simple, but I saw many connections. So many connections. So, like, this is one of the decks we've read where they keep on referencing a lot of the other cards. The other cards we've read so far, the two other decks that we've read so far, they did reference some of the other cards, but this one is linking it up everywhere because it looks like a lot of these people came out of Vietnam, right? And the Bay of Pigs under Nixon. No connections to Carter that I saw. Under Bush CIA, when Bush Senior was around the CIA, all linked up because Bush Senior was vice president, all linked up during the Reagan administration, and then connected up with Bush Senior and Dan Quayle, even, right? Like, that's why you got to punish these people who commit crimes against humanity and go against the constitution of your countries, because they don't disappear. They're still around and they have their connections and they keep on murdering 40,000 civilians and more, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. Marco P, in your opinion, what will happen to the to the hoop? I gotta increase this. Sorry, the heart thing. Oops. No, come on. Let me read it. Hold on a second. All the censor to strat of the U.S. if Trump wins. To the state of the U.S. if Trump wins. Economically, it's going to be better. It'll pull out of Ukraine. The war will end there, but unfortunately, cool. Unfortunately, the wars in the Middle East will pick up. That's my opinion. We're gonna go full blown into World War III. It's just building up and building up, building up. Lord of Iron, what was it like being in school and seeing the hearing on Capitol Hill? I was in high school and the hearings began. I can't remember when it came. It was high school, and I remember John Hall's farm ranch in Costa Rica. They had it a lot because his thing came up because it was just the craziest thing, right? He was a total American patriot. Like, and a lot of these people are American patriots. Don't like, they're fanatics. They're crazy, right? They're genocidal maniacs, right? But deep down in their hearts, they're 100% anti-communist cult, right? Not that communism is a good thing. Communism is a bad thing, right? But they're so anti-communist that they're willing to commit atrocities to prevent communism or any political party from rising up as representing even socialism, right? So even though they pretend to be democracies coming from democratic countries, they are 100% anti-democrats, right? They don't believe in democracy. They're tyrannies, right? So when we were watching these hearings live on TV, and you could see it, and you know, you saw Ollie North testify, and you saw Hall, the rancher in Coast, just a rancher. It was like a, he was like a, what do you call it, that actor John Wayne type of character, right? Very weird, but they were, they they just showed them as being very pro-American. They just went down the wrong path, right? They made mistakes. They made mistakes. The connections to Nixon, Laos, Vietnam, George Bush Sr., right? It never linked up, right? They cut Reagan. They pretended that Reagan knew nothing of this, right? And Reagan may have known a little bit, but George Bush Sr. knew everything, right? It was just surreal. It was just surreal. I was young, but I knew the whole connection with Iran and the hostages. And one thing that people have to really appreciate is that Reagan and Bush, in the build-up to the elections in 1980, right, 1979, 1980, the Reagan administration, Bush Sr., met with Iranian officials in France and made a deal with Iran where Iran would hold the American hostages for an extra 180 days, 190 days, and not release them while Carter was president, because if Carter was able to get the hostages, the American hostages, released from Iran, he was guaranteed to win the elections, right? So the Reagan and Bush administration, right, they made a deal with Iran where Iran would keep the hostages for until Reagan got elected. And if you recall, Iran released the hostages on Reagan's inauguration, where he put his hand on the Bible, right hand on the Bible, and testified to God that he was hold the Constitution and all this jazz. And Iran released the hostages, and the deal was this: Iran, because it was a hot potato, Iran didn't want to hold the American hostages, right? It didn't look good for Iran, right? They put him on the sort of a geopolitical bad list around the world because they allowed American hostages to be taken in their own country, right, and held, not being released. So United States had to really make it sweet. The Reagan Bush administration had to make it really sweet, and the deal they cut with Iran was this: that the Reagan administration would supply Iran with all the weapons that they needed indefinitely. And that's where it connects up with the Iran-Contra affair, right? They were shipping, taking money from Iran with sales of weapons to Iran and funneling it through all these black ops to be sent to black ops site operations all over the place. And Iran, the Nicaragua, the Contras were just one of the places that were laundering this money, right? It goes so effing deep. It goes so deep to a level where Carter realized that he couldn't cut a deal with the Iranians to get the hostages released, and they actually tried. They conducted what do you call it, an operation to free the hostages militarily, right? So they had two, I believe it was two helicopters that were flying low with US Marines going to where the hostages were being held to rescue the hostages militarily, right? Lo and behold, the Iranians shot down those helicopters. The word in the Iranian community was that Bush Sr. gave the flight plans to the Iranians, so they knew exactly where the hostages were, what the flight plans were for the helicopters, and shot them down. And that's how they were able to shoot them down. So the Reagan Bush administration gave the flight plans of Navy SEALs or whatever operative US military operation to the Iranians to make sure that Carter could not rescue the American hostages from Iran, guaranteeing that the Reagan Bush administration would win the elections. This is something that I've known in the 1980s when I was in high school, when coming out of elementary school. You heard all the Iranians, family, friends of Iranian. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Meanwhile, you watch TV, and that's when I realized corporate Western media in elementary school, high school. I realized corporate Western media is pure garbage. Lies, lies, lies. Because I could hear what was really going on, and you would watch TV, and the TV would spew garbage. And this is something that got confirmed, by the way, by what do you call it? Scott Ritter, right? I was watching an interview with Scott Ritter, and Scott Ritter was saying, I used to believe Western media. I used to read all these papers, The Economist, New York Times, and stuff like this. And then I got involved with the weapons inspections in Iraq and with the UN, and I knew exactly what was going on, right? And this is in 1999, I think this happened. And I knew exactly what was going on, right? And then I would read all these newspapers and all these magazines. I was watching the news, and I would read this stuff, and this was completely false. Everything they were reporting was garbage. It was lies, lies, lies. And that's when Scott Ritter had an epiphany, going, oh my God, Western corporate media is lying about everything, because he knew exactly what was going on about this one thing that they were reporting, which was all bullshit. And that's when he realized that for the last 30 years that he's been reading all this stuff, The Economist, New York Times, Washington Post, all this stuff, he realized that if they were lying to him about this, that he knew everything there was to about it, then the odds are they were lying to him about everything else. And that was Scott Ritter's awakening, right? In 1999, I believe he said that. Me, I had the awakening in the 1980s because they were reporting about a country that I came from, and I could hear the elders talking about what was really going on. Crazy. And people to this day, right now, still watch Western corporate media, read the New York Times, read the Washington Post, read The Economist, read foreign policy, read all this stuff coming out of think tanks and stuff like this, and they think they're telling them the truth. Uneffing believable. Uneffing believable. Right? Unbelievable. Lark bark on sensor tube, like the song from the 80s, lies from the Thompson twins, lies, 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 lies. Yeah. Astro Sweet from Rumble, smash the like, thumb, and comments to boost the algorithm. Indeed, I gotta mention that at the beginning. I keep on not mentioning it, forgetting about it. chycho, I missed some chat, gang. My apologies. I had to go off on that little rant. They want the hostage. Maybe they did want the hostages. Hypothetically, how would the CIA be eliminated? JFK tried to do it, right? They assassinated him, and the Americans bought the story of the lone gunman hanging outside of a library upside down with one eye shooting across. They totally forgot about the grassy knoll, right? Sloth, salutations on sensor tube. How should it be eliminated? You tell me. You tell me. The origin is the Nazis from World War II. NSA, NASA, CIA. Walt Disney had a Nazi scientist making them cartoons, right, with his voice explaining how science is done, the atom. Unbelievable. Oh my God. I was also in high school. I remember the Chinese news in Hong Kong talking about it. Were they telling what type of news were they, what type of angle were they portraying? Oh my God. Mean clear bams. Social media literally does the job of the CIA with all the data sets behind social media platforms to a large degree, right? The main social media platforms like Facebook and CensorTube and Reddit. But if you come into our Gilded server, people are sharing legit information, right? The magic bullet, yeah. Hit him here, went here, hit his shoulder, went down, hit the knee, came down, came back out, did a loop to loop, came this way, right? The CIA assassinated an American president, and corporate Western media has CIA operatives, former CIA agents, CIA heads, agents they bring and they interview and they air this shit, and the American population says, oh, Putin bad, Iran evil, China communist. What is the IQ level, the intelligence level of people who believe this bullshit? Like, really, it blows me away that people still spew corporate media propaganda. I just, it just doesn't register with me. Even kitty cats, you can teach them things, right? Bad from good. Even cats have the ability to learn, right? How is it that Western public does not have that ability in them, where they're still supporting war? They still believe these three-letter agencies. They still support Nazis, where the Canadian government can give 2 standing ovations to Nazis, and the Canadian public does not rise up and go, we want every member of parliament right now to resign. You fuckers, you gave standing ovations to Nazis. We want all of you resign. We want new elections next week. Everybody out. Everybody out. How is it possible that Canadian citizens have not done that? Right? We reap what we sow. Let's see where we go. Right? Elder God, most were supporting the British government narrative, but some were calling it total BS. Yeah, Hong Kong was very much British. Yeah, so I'm curious to see what the news coverage was in Russia about this, and China about this. And I know what people knew in Iran. People looked at the news coverage in corporate Western media and they went, what? This is low IQ. Who is this? Like it's an R word that I can't say, right? Oh God, I was only 13 at the time, but I was suspicious of the hearing narrative. We were watching it in classes. Wow, they showed it to you in class. Wow. I know I watched it because I was intrigued. It was interesting. It was weird to me because it was about, because when I was in school, elementary school, when I came here, the Iran hostage crisis happened, right? And everybody knew that I was from Iran. I didn't speak a word of English, right? And they were showing the Iran hostage crisis, like 80% of the news was Iran hostages, American hostages, American hostages. And I got into a lot of fights in elementary school. And I was a little kid in elementary school, but I never backed down from a fight. It's weird. Like people said, Chycho, we knew you were always in a fight. I just didn't understand bullying, right? So I wouldn't take it, right? But I got in fights with people, kids in elementary school, because I was from the country that was holding American hostages, and Iran bad, Putin bad, Iran bad, right? But to me, what they were portraying on TV was bullshit, right? And I wasn't what they were showing. My family wasn't what they were showing. None of the friends that they had, Iranians, they were showing, none of the so-called facts that they were spewing on TV was facts that I was hearing. So I would look at these people, they would go, Iran, are you a terrorist? There was one time this kid, now I'll tell you the story. I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell this story because it's funny as fuck, right? And just imagine, the guy was big, right? So I was in a classroom. I was in grade 5, I think, halfway end of grade 5, but I didn't speak a word of English, right? I think I thought how are you meant hello, right? I would go around, how are you, how are you, how are you, right? So I was in class, back at a class, and Canada has a bully issue. It's not a recent thing. Western culture, I think, has a bully issue. In Iran, you don't get bullies like this. Man, you bully someone, in Iran, a kid, if families get involved, you know, blood could be shed. So people don't bully because, but not a good idea, right? But bullying in Canada was a prominent thing. It's like, it's weird. Okay. So I was in the back of the class, and this big guy with two smaller guys beside him, right? It's like classic bullying thing you see TV, right? And he went up to another kid that used to get bullied. He was a little guy, glasses, and the big guy put his hand out, right, like this. So the little guy, you know, that used to get bullied, he's like, "Oh, hi," shook his hand, and this big guy took his hand, twisted him, and put his hand behind his back and pulled up his hand, and the other guys was laughing, and he was laughing, and the little kid was, I was doing this. I was like, damn, I watched this. I went, what the fuck, right? That's fucking weird, right? You do that in Iran, you might have someone come up and fucking knock you silly, right? You don't do that. And the guy, they laughed, ha ha ha, joked around, and they went out the front of the class door. There was two doors, one in the back, one in the front, right? And then I was playing in the back. I don't know what I was doing. I was a fucking kid, right? And then the big guy with the two guys came to the door from the back door, and they came up to me, right? I was like, what the fuck? And the big guy put out his hand, and I looked at his hand. I go, what the fuck? And at the time, the hostages were taken. I was watching news and shit like this. I shit you not. I shit you not. This is what I did. I went, looked at him, looked at the two guys. Like, I went, you Canada, me Iran. Iran, Canada. I did this. They went like this. I shit you fucking not. They went like this. And they went, ha, 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 ha. They backed out and they left. Those guys never bullied me again, ever, right? Ever. Okay. That's why you stand up to bullies. Don't let them get away with that fucking shit. You might get hurt. I might have been hurt, right? I might have been hurt, but doesn't fucking matter. Okay, doesn't fucking matter. It is what it is. It is what it is. Panic. Thank you very much for redeeming 350 points. Salute, gang. Temporary peace. Cheryl's laughing. In Iran, you're already beat that. Yeah. No fucking around. I'll save you another bully story later. One bully story per stream. Okay, one bully story per stream. Hilarious. Laurie Bard, I loathe bullies. They're the worst people in human existence. Indeed, they're fucking cowards. Astro Sweet on Rumble, and somehow Canadians are portrayed as nice, so nice. Oh, yeah. We are in general, really, but there's a bully problem here. Okay, in bars, you go to bars, it's sort of a pastime. It used to be anyway in the 80s, 90s. There are certain bars, every night there's a fight. Every night there's a fight. I knew people that they like brawling. Right? Lark Bark, you got to stand up to people like that because they'll never stop. Indeed. Panic, Chycho, what did we think about the Putin interview? Panic, check out my latest video on Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, and CensorTube. It's an 18-minute segment where I share what I think about the Putin interview. Okay, Tucker Carlson Putin interview. It's a segment from the mapping live stream that we did last week. Okay, so that's my take, and that's just a part of it. Right? There's a lot more to the Tucker Carlson Putin interview, and maybe we'll break it down one day, right? But I think we sort of got the feel for what I thought about it in that 18 minutes. Kyle good. Hello, hello on SensorTube. Hope you're doing well. Gang, should we call the stream? Let's call the stream. Let's call the stream. Most likely, again, this weekend coming up, we'll do a stream. I'm not sure if we're going to do a stream Sunday. If we do a stream, it's going to be early. But I'll try to get 2 streams in next weekend. Most likely Tuesday again. Yeah, most likely Tuesday again, maybe Monday. Maybe we'll do Monday, Tuesday. Not sure if we'll do Sunday. And if we do Sunday, it'll most likely be Sunday morning, maybe. Okay, but I'll keep you guys posted on our gilded server. Elder God, I was attempted bullied on my first day of school when I returned to the UK. I beat the guy with my science book, John Wick style. UK trying to bully someone that grew up in Hong Kong, right? Like watching, just knowing a little bit of history of Bruce Lee in Hong Kong and stuff like this. Hong Kong had some serious gang. Like you need to learn how to fight in Hong Kong, from what I understand. But of course, that's Bruce Lee life growing up. So I don't know how other people's might have been. Astro Street on Rumble. The children show the temperament of the country, usually without a filter. I blame the parents when their children are bullies. 100%. 100%. Astro Sweet. Thank you, Chycho. See you later. See you as well. Sal is based. Strawberry Ninja. Sal is based. Sal is based. Gang, I'm gonna do my little outro. Gang, if you want to know where we are, we're on Patreon, Substack, Subscribe Star. You can follow the work there, you can support the work there. For all of you that have been supporting this work on Patreon, on Substack, on Gilded, on SensorTube, on Rumble, on BitChute, on Odyssey, on Twitch, gang, thank you very much for the support. I appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the content. Eldegar says I was in Hong Kong for a decade. It's so true. Was it? Okay, cool. That's the picture I get of Hong Kong. Don't fuck around. You get into fights. Fight or bitch every day. Yeah. Yeah, that's the feeling I got from it, from just looking at the Bruce Lee history, right? Makes you real. Makes you real. Gang, thank you for the support. And again, gang, salute to the mods, salute to the mods. Cheryl, Elder God here. I'm not sure who else was here. And other people show up, salute to the mods, gang. Oh, who's that? That's Salio. He woke up. And gang, we're on, we do upload audio to SoundCloud as podcasts. We're on Twitter, we're on Minds, we're on WeCave, we're on Substack Notes, we're on Truth Social, we're on Gab, and we're on Getter. And Sal has been caught meowing 16 times. Awesome, gang. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and we'll talk most likely. It will be on Gilded, but I'll let you guys know when our next couple live streams will be. I'm gonna go check on Sal. Bye, everyone.